Hello and welcome back to the Drivers Room Endurance Championship. This is Season 3, Tier 1, Round 5, and we're in the Group 4 class at Fuji. As we take a look at the standings, we have Pluxtheduck and Smith tied on 134 points after half a season, both with 2 wins, so everything to play for there. Behind them we have Nessie, Mac and Gadget all closely together. This is Gadget's defence of his title, and it's not going perfectly for him, but maybe a strong second half of the season will help him. And behind them is still close in the battles for the midfield positions. So let's take a look down at the track today and see what happened in qualifying. Here we are at Fuji at sunset. You can see the cars lining up on the grid with the starting order there. So let's see what happened in qualifying as we take a look at the grid. On the grid walk we have Lionessie taking pole position in a great tight battle for pole. Second we have Dawson in the NSX. Second time he's been beaten in qualifying in this season. Smithy in third, using the slipstream to his best advantage. Lucas with a brilliant fourth position on the second row there with the fast starting Subaru Impreza. Then we have Plux, who will be disappointed with fifth. Kim, look for him to get a good start in the McLaren with its 7 gears. Senna with the Mustang, that too will be pretty good off the line, down in the 7th position. And we have Muller, look for him to probably go backwards at the start. The front wheel drive Megane doesn't exactly launch off the line. Then we have Ricey in a decent 9th position. Mac probably will be disappointed with 10th. This Lamborghini used to be one of the best qualifying cars, and now it seems to have slipped away. Gadget down in 11th. The Alpha, with the recent tweaks to the BOP, really struggling here, along with Furdick also in the Alpha. And we have Wilco. This car will be lightning fast in the straights, but may struggle around the corners. And we have Ben in the Trophy, and Cafe, who I believe missed qualifying, will start from the back. So let's see what happened in the race. 1 hour around Fuji. So we build the revs now to get going. Grid start. It's a tight hairpin, so we'll see what happens here. See if anyone gets pushed wide. But a great launch by Nessie. Great launch by Smith and Lorcas. Dawson down 2 positions. The NSXs aren't good off the line. Too long first gear, not enough torque. And Nessie's got a straight shot. As we see, Plux gets pushed wide. That's going to cost him at least one position, 2 positions. He's down to 7th. Muller gets away with no issues, as we see damage already for Fuji and for, I believe that was Mac who had damage. It's a real shame for those guys. As we cut back to the front, we see Lorcas pressured immediately by Smithy, trying to get a good start. Use those super soft tyres, but he gets a bad run out the corner. That's going to give Dawson a run. Dawson, the NSX, probably the best in a straight line here. He cuts back underneath. He's now going to take a look down in the inside probably as we cut back to 6th and 7th position. There's Muller in the fearsomely fast McGann in a straight line. As we see, Dawson did make the move. Let's cut back and see how we got that move done. On board, so like I say, cut underneath Lorcas here, Dawson did. Now he's going to see if he can get him on the brakes. You can kind of pull off a block pass down here if you're smart. He didn't need to, he just took away the inside line. Looks like Smithy went for a move as well, which compromised Lorcas. Maybe that was Kim there, actually. So we're on board now with Plux, trying to fight back some of those positions. Goes for a little bit of a look up the inside, but that was never really on. Saves it from being damaged, but a bit of a scruffy move there from the joint points leader. Poor old Gadget right down there in 13th. It is Mac with damage. Maybe he got that damage later though. He was further up the grid than that incident at the start. I think it was actually Ricey who had the damage at the first corner with contact with Fuji. So now back on board with the leaders. Midfield group now. This is going to be a slipstream train all the way. It looks like Muller got a great run out the final corner. He's closing in on that NSX. The NSX is not a slow car in a straight line, but he's a little bit far back. He goes for it. Really trusting those brakes on the McGann. Sends it down the inside. That's going to annoy Plux. He's trying to move forward. Plux does get the better drive out the corner. He does have the inside line, but here comes the power of the McGann, and he'll have the slipstream from Senna. Will Plux try and send one back? He does. Full commitment into the left-hander across the curb there. Blocks off the pass, and that's Plux defends that position, but he's now a long way back. As we see Dawson here, closing back in on Nessie. Lorcas not far behind either. And Kim, one of his best races so far, I think this could be. That McLaren does look very fast. Good start there from I see Kathleen Omar up from 15th. We've lost a car already. That's Fuji. He's retired. Looks like Mac's been into the pits, looking at the gap between himself and 13th place Gadget. Gadget, who's not really had the season he would have wanted in his defence of his championship. There's Smithy all over the back of Kim through this sector. Dawson, who's just slowly pulling himself back towards Nessie, who will have the slipstream. That will help him out. Nessie really needs to either allow Dawson through, try and stay with him using the slipstream, or find a way to break that slipstream, because otherwise Dawson will probably just sit behind him and do some fuel saving and get him in the pit stops, as we've got this tight battle here for 10th position. On board with Wilk. I said this car's good in a straight line. Look at it go! Didn't even... I think this car's got 7 gears. He didn't go, but he's overcooked it, and that's going to allow Cafe back through. Can he hold off Ben? Ben going back on the over-under. I think Wilco's going to hold on to that one. Yes, he does. Got the inside, although that's a bad line. Can Ben cut back over around? I don't think he's going to be able to go all the way around here, so we're on board with Cafe now. There's Muller. Look how much Plux has pulled away in that one lap. Right back on the slipstream of Senna. There's Smithy. Yeah, a little error out of the tight left-hand hairpin. There is Dawson, purple lap 2. Fastest man on track as per usual. Lorcas. Oh, the understeer of that Subaru already starting to shine through on those super soft tyres. Most of the field is on supers to start. I think Plux is one of the only ones not on supers from this kind of front pack. It is kind of splitting into two though. Kim, whilst was looked quick, he looks like he's been a little bit scruffy. It's actually allowed Lorcas to get away. Go on board with Kim. Look at the power of that McLaren though off the corner. There's such great acceleration, a really good punch. Seems quite linear through the gears. That's the advantage of having a 7-speed box. Is Senna now with the slipstream and the better power, but there's the downforce and the grip of the McGann Trophy, though Smithy only just about gets that one stopped. Little puff of smoke there, possibly a lock-up. Though he is running ABS, so that would be slightly surprising. As we go on with Plux. Pace of this race not super stunning from this middle pack. So on board with the kind of lower midfield pack. Right, he's managing to stay with Gadget despite the front damage. There's Mac, who pitted 4 damage. So on board with the leaders now. Lionessy having to go defensive. That's actually giving Lorcas a chance to keep up. Looks at this point of the race, Nessie's not as fast as Lorcas. Dawson seems happy to sit there. Like I say, he might be going for the save fuel strategy. He knows he's faster at this point in the race, and he can use that later on. Jump him in the pits, or even do one less pit stop. As we see, this looks like the battle between Plux and Senna. Plux managed to sneak one through. He's going to go down the outside. Downhill. Left-hander. He's running it all the way around the outside. Can he get on the throttle better? It does seem like he has. He's carried the momentum around the outside with the mid-engine NSX. And he's now got enough punch to try and tuck back into that slipstream of Smithy. Will Senna have a dive? No. Oh, a little bit wide there on entry from Plux. But that's that compromise line. Now Smithy and Plux are together again. These two are the current championship contenders. And of course, that man there, Dawson, is always a contender if he can make enough races. That inside curve nicely this time. He is shifting up quite early. As we see now the battle of the lower positions. There you go. There's Gadget's problem in a nutshell. We just saw there. Right up behind the back of Wilco, and Wilco just pulls away in that Ferrari compared to the Alfa. This Alfa has been heavily nerfed in the recent updates. A lot of weight has been added to it, and it's lost its advantage on fuel and tyres. No longer the one-stop magic car for fuel, or even no stop for fuel was possible. So still back on board with Dawson. Lionessy holding him off, but this is going to cost him time. He's being defensive through corners. There's a little look. Still not really trying to go for it at this point in the race. As we see Plux right with the back of Smithy there. Senna's hanging on there in the slipstream, and this is what this race always looked like it was going to be. It actually looks like Nessie's slower than the that kind of second group that we were starting to see emerge, and they're actually catching back up to that group. See how that plays out. Will anyone dive in and try and take tyres at any point soon? Try and get an undercut. But the slipstream is very powerful here. So, looking back now at Ben and Cafe. Oh, a bit of a dive there. Cafe did well to make sure he didn't turn across Ben's bow. Bit of a late move, but he did have the grip. It's worth pointing out that Cafe was another driver who sustained damage early on in the race. He'll have to get that repaired, but he's done an excellent job staying in the back half of the top 10. You can see actually that's the car is slightly pulling. And he will be down on top speed. He has got the slipstream to help him out there. As they head down towards turn 1, Cafe's going to get the move back, but can he hold on? No, he can't. Ben can brake later. He can be more trusting in the aerodynamic and mechanical grip properties of his car because he doesn't have damage. Let's go back on board with our lead pack, and it looks like Plux has been the one who's dropped off after that early charge. Back towards Smithy. Smithy and Kim are pulling away from him. Senna now having another look at him. So a poor lap by Plux, or his tyres gone past their best. Be a surprise as he is the driver on the soft tyre, while everyone else around him is on supers. As we look back at the lead pack here, and Dawson now starting to look a little bit more impatient. With the pack closing back in. He was probably happy to sit behind Nessie whilst Nessie was still looking fast, but now he seems to have slowed down relative to the other drivers. Very scruffy lap there from Plux. Picked up a penalty. Easy to do around here. There's Gadget all the way down in 13th. He's been passed by Ricey, even though Ricey's got damage on his car. So we jump back forward. Will we see anyone take to the pits this time? Looks like maybe it's going to be Plux. Despite having the soft tyre, he is going to be the one who dives in early, try and get the undercut on those ahead of him. He's got to be careful. That bad lap he had might drop him back into traffic, and that would be pretty catastrophic for his race, as it looks like Nessie just gets the power down to protect himself, but Dawson's just all over him. He's got much better tyre life at this stage in the race. And whilst Nessie is doing a valiant job here, I think Dawson's kind of playing with him. To see if anyone can stay with these two. These two are now fighting. They weren't fighting before, and this is going to slow them down as Dawson has a look on the exit. Tries to get underneath him. All these guys are back in it, and I was right. Plux's bad couple of laps have definitely dropped him back behind, and this is going to be really costly for his race. He's now behind Cafe, who's of course got a wounded car. These two were their teammates in Season 1 before Cafe was promoted into Tier 1. Plux can't make anything happen there. Gets the better run through there. He's going to be on the outside. Can he throw it around the outside here? He's got the better tyre life at this point. That's a lot of trust there he's got for Cafe. That's a difficult corner, and the other driver can just open the steering and force you wide. But those better life tyres. He's now on the supers. A little bit sideways out of the difficult tight left. As we're now on board. Will we see any of these guys follow suit? No, everyone stays out. That was a dummy there from Nessie. See if he could get anyone to take a nibble. But look at this. That fighting's brought all four of these cars back into the battle. And it looks like Lorcas has gone for it. Absolutely sends it down the inside of Dawson. And it's Lorcas. I think they made contact. Lorcas led off and let Dawson back through. But that's allowed Kim through on both of them. No reason for Kim to let off. He made his braking point. And Kimmy's now got himself up into second place. What a great bit of driving there from Kim. He saw what might happen. Lorcas probably felt the pressure from Kim in that fast McLaren. And Nessie's now got a nice comfortable margin. Probably see him pit this time. We've got Kim and Dawson, who's going to be probably kicking himself a little bit. Probably let Nessie have it for a little too long. Maybe he should have gone for it the lap before, really made an attack. They know they were battling, but he didn't try and really go for the kill in any of those moves. As Lorcas's tyres, I think that was the last gasp he had, and he knew that Kim was going to come past, so he had a go. But he's really dropped off the back of these three here now. And Nessie, for all that he had that track position, he's just got no pace. Those tyres have fallen off a cliff. You expect to see him in this time. Kim's got much better pace than Nessie, but Dawson's got better pace than him as well. He stayed with him really well through that difficult section. As we see, Plux now gets past Ben. So he's now through most of the back mark. Yeah, he's through all the back markers. As we've seen Muller and Cafe, and I believe Ricey pit as well. So this time Nessie is in. Kim and Dawson stay out. Lorcas is in, as is Smithy. So that second half of that group and our race leader are all in. Let's see how this all goes. We've got Nessie already out. We lose a good old chunk of time pitting at this track. We'll see what happens here. That looks like Smithy's going to lose the position to Plux. Lorcas is still safe, so Plux is going to be ruining the fact he got traffic. That's probably cost him a shot of jumping Lorcas. And also he'll have the worst tyres here. He never got to use the freshness of his tyres to actually put any good laps in. Tyre wear here is... and Dawson just gets underneath Kim there. The McLaren's got better drive, but he didn't get the good drive out the corner. He's going to have a look back at him. We jump on board with Kim. Bit of bad camera work there. Can he send it round the outside? There's no real point there. Looks like these two are probably going to pit soon. Or at least Kim's tyres seem to have faded. Dawson with a lot more fuel than anyone else. He's definitely was fuel saving that opening stint. Just allowing his car to not be used as hard. And that's why he's got the best tyre life at this point. But Kim had a great run there. Really drove himself back into the fight after a couple of dodgy laps at the start. Now I'm on board following Plux with Smithy right behind. Of course, these are our two championship leaders at this point. Equal on points, 2 wins apiece. Smithy's been the better driver in qualifying, but Plux hasn't been off the podium yet. Jump on board as we see Kim is now pitted. He's dropped out behind Lorcas. That's going to mean he's going to have to find his way through. He goes for the super wide entry. There's Plux there, not far behind. Looks like Smithy's kind of dropped off a bit after being right near the back of him. Maybe he had a small issue, but here he comes. I told you about the drive of that McLaren. Look at it go in the slipstream. That 7-speed gearbox, giving him so much acceleration and such a smooth power delivery. This car's really becoming one of the strongest in the field. Yeah, Kim is making use of it beautifully there. As we jump back to the other kind of pack that we've got at the moment, it's 3 wide, and you can see the poor Alpha gets absolutely swamped there by the powerful Jaguar and the slippery Ferrari. And there's Cafe, and Wilco's gone for the same move as he did last time, but this time he's got fresher tyres, and I think he might make that stick. A little bit of contact there between Ricey and Cafe. Or at least a little bit of a forceful move, and Cafe went from being at the front of this train to being right in the middle of it, and he's now going to worry about Gadget. As we go back on board with our race leader, he's still yet to pit. An absolutely fantastic drive by Dawson so far, really showing everyone else up a bit. He's managed to make his tyres last the longest, he's got the best fuel, and he might have played himself into a 2-stop here, while everyone else looks to be on a 3 or better. Oh, a bit of contact there between Lorcas. Looks like an opportunistic kind of cutback move by Plux to try and get ahead. And now Plux has done that. He's going to have a go maybe at Kim. But oh, a bit of contact. Lorcas was trying to get to the inside there, but ran out of time. Got his foot kind of caught in it. Now we've got Smithy who's caught back up. through this sector, which is the strength of the trophy. It's corner, 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 and that car just turns so well. Short wheelbase, quite wide, and it's got the best aerodynamics of any car in Group 4. As we see, Dawson now does pit. He should comfortably come back out in second, maybe third position, just because Kim would have got the undercut. There is Nessie, but no, he's going to stay second. Yep, just about stay second. So what a fantastic stint there from Dawson. He was only a tiny bit ahead of Kim. Kim would have had a lap on the fresh tyres, and he hasn't managed to make it work. And that's going to really cost Kim a chance of beating Dawson. I think if he'd come out ahead of him, he'd have a really good shot at him, even though he had the one extra pit stop to do. And now it looks like Plux's tyres were fading as we saw him dropping off the back as we're on board with Muller here. And that began as we're now seeing Plux dive in at the end of lap 14. He drops out behind Senna. Senna, who really fell off the back of this group. He's still there if there's an issue, but he's no longer going to get the slipstream. And you can see, I think, Lorcas got a little bit caught out there. Plux's older tyres really costing him while everyone else had relatively fresh rubber. Nessie again in the lead, but his tyres are now fading, and again Dawson's driving up to the back of him, but he's bringing Kim with him. And this is going to really help Kim's race in possibly having a go at Nessie. But I think Dawson's going to pull the same trick twice, sit in behind Nessie. Nessie will be coming in the next 4 or 5 laps. He can get another 4 or 5 laps of fuel saving done while he's protecting his tyres. And there's Plux on the fresh rubber. For him to finally set some times. It looks like this time he's come out with enough clean air to do something with the tyres. As we look back at the cars near the back, and it's actually Gadget at the back. We've lost another car. Another 2 cars, sorry. We've lost, I believe, Wilco and Hit the Mac from the order. There's Cafe under pressure. If he can just make it to the straight, though, he probably would be alright. A bit of a wide line there by Gadget. The Alpha really doesn't like this track. And like I say, with the extra weight in it, it feels like a big old boat. He gets a better run out the corner, but I think Cafe is probably going to be protected here unless he goes for the pit lane. As we see Miller pits this time on the super soft rubber. And yes, Cafe does bail on those tyres, so Gadget will get the place back. As we see Ricey in there as well. As we jump back on board, this time with Senna, and those tyres are absolutely destroyed. It looks like Plux has gone for the dive up the inside. A bit of a cheeky move, but he's managed to save himself probably a whole boatload of time. He seems to have just come up there, had too much time, lost too much time there, and he's now going to have some more clean air. So this is crucial for Plux's race, making that 4-stop strategy work. He's sacrificing having the train and the slipstream to having the fresh tyres and being able to push himself through the corners where he feels best. As we see that Senna went in on that lap, as did Smith. Will Smith come out behind Plux? You'd think so, because Plux has had those laps on fresh tyres. And see Kim, he's still pretty close to Dawson, and Lorcas really felt lost out having that move put on him by Plux. Plux, that's his best lap of the race despite having that overtake. And we see the same battle again, but this time Dawson's having a look down the outside. This is a difficult move to pull off. Oh, a little bit of contact. I think if that hadn't happened, Dawson might be able to get on the power and have a go at him, but he's dropped back a little bit, and that's going to put Kim back in the slipstream, getting closer again. But this has been a great drive by Kimi. Lorcas in that Subaru pushing hard as well. And like I say, Smithy is behind, but we'll have the best tyres, the better tyres now. Whilst the tyres are fresh on that McGann trophy, they do seem pretty good. As we see now, Senna getting back past Ben. 2 totally different cars here. The long front-engined rear-drive Mustang versus the small, compact, mid-engine Megane trophy car. Talking of the other Megane, the front-wheel drive Megane. Two very different applications of the same chassis, or the same base body shell type. They're completely different chassis underneath. One's more like a touring car, one's more like a proper race, car. More of a thoroughbred, as we see a bit of thoroughbred style sliding there from Cave. As Nessie bails to the pits this time. See if Plux gets ahead. I don't think he will. He's had a bit of a naff lap actually. He's lost 6/10 on where it was last lap, and that's probably cost him a shot of having Nessie behind him. And like what happened with Kim, with Dawson, I think that's going to slow Plux down because his tyres will be hot at this point, but they are going to be worn. Dawson now takes the lead and now can basically toddle along at his own pace. Kim will be in probably at the end of lap 18. His tyre wear is looking a bit bad at this point. That's terrible English for you. This has been one of Kim's best drives so far. At the moment, any one of kind of the top 6 drivers could be on the podium. It's looking to me like Dawson's going to come out on top. He's definitely going for that 2-stop strategy now, which will really help him out. Smithy now closing back in onto the back of Plux. As we see Dawson now pitting on lap 24. That's his final stop of the race. And it's actually Plux who comes out. After the pit stops, we've also seen Nessie and Smith in there for their final stops as Lorcas takes to the grass there. And on lap 25, of all the drivers you wouldn't expect to be in the lead at this point. But Plux will be pitting, I think, at the end of lap 27. And of course, Dawson will have much fresher tyres, so it's all going to be coming down to this sort of thing. Most of these drivers have made their last pit stop. It's only Plux, I believe, who's left to pit. He'll drop back to the end of this pack. As we see Dawson there all over the back of Plux with those fresher tyres. And he's probably just going to wait and pick his moment. Get a better run down the straight. It's going to be the move that costs him the least amount of time. You can see the lack of fuel in that made for racing car. He's absolutely pushing his fuel to the limit here. Go down the straight. And there's nothing Plux can do here. Same car, same machinery, but one of them's got a slipstream. He won't be fighting this. I think Plux is very much aware that all he's going to do is cost himself time by fighting this. Stays wide. Make sure he gets a good exit, and now he might use this as a chance to be kind of towed around. You see the flash of the lights? I don't think that's the standard Plux flash of the lights. That's thank you very much for making that easy for us both. Neither of them lost really any time, and I think Plux will use this as a chance to get towed round a little bit while his tyres are rubbish. Trying to pick up maybe one last slipstream and then dive it into the pits. As we see, it was wrong actually. Kim and Lorcas needed to pit one last time. At the end of lap 26 they're in. Lorcas has come out incredibly quickly. He's really risking it on fuel, only 21 litres. Well, I think Kim's gone a little bit far the other way. And that's a big gap between these two. Remember, Lorcas came in behind Kim, so he's jumped a huge margin. Smithy was the car first in for their final stop, along with Nessie. He set a purple lap time last time by. Looks like Plux is dropping back quite quickly from Dawson. Lost 1.2 seconds. Dawson set 45.0 on that lap. Maybe lost a little bit of time with that opening turn dive on Plux. It looks to me like Plux is definitely not going to have a chance at Nessie. Nessie's only about 4 or 5 seconds behind him, and Plux will have to pit for fuel and tyres. It's a really tight battle, and It is now Plux in at the end of lap 27. 1 litre left in the fuel tank, so he's timed that at the last possible second. We'll have to see where they come out. So Lorcas, I think, will be safe. But I think Kim's overfueled his car. And yeah, that's right. You can see Plux coming out just behind Lorcas. Good move there by a good bit of strategy if he can make it work by Lorcas, but he's going to have to fuel save like crazy. But Plux needs to get this done quickly because Kim's not far behind and Smithy is within striking distance. If the tyre wear on that Megane carries on. A little flash there from Lorcas. Is that saying, alright mate, fair cop? Or is he saying, back off, you silly blue Honda? Tries. This is Plux's favourite move. We've seen him do this a couple of times today. Oh, he gets on the power a little hard though, and that's going to give a little bit of contact there. Plux can't make what he did to Lorcas earlier on the race work. Earlier on in the race work, he did it to Senna. We didn't see it on the screen, but he also did the same move to Kim, and he's done it to Lorcas already once. But this time, Lorcas was aware of it, and look how much Kim's caught up on this lap. Plux has got a couple of tenths of penalty. He can use the better tyre wear. Well, they've got about the same tyre wear, but he got a good run out of there. Lorcas will pick up the four-wheel drive pretty quick, but you'd expect with no slipstream. Here comes the Nissan? The NSX on the Subaru in Fuji. Here we go. Oh, bit of a dive, but it wasn't a late braking dive. It was a brake and then roll off the throttle, roll off the brake sort of dive, much more controlled. And there is Smithy, and his tyres are fading, as are Lioness's. I think Dawson's finally showing what pace he does have on those tyres, and it's kind of pulling away now. But Nessie's tyres, if Smithy can hold on to his tyres, he might have a shot at that. And if not, then Plux might have a shot at Smithy. So we see a tight battle there. Will Kim be able to find a way through on the Subaru of Lorcas? Looks like he did, because we jumped to lap 31. Looks like Plux has got a penalty of about 2.3 seconds, and that could be costly because there's only 5 minutes of the race left. Smithy is still struggling on those tyres, still puffs of smoke coming up like he is locking up, but it does show that he's got an ABS light on, so he shouldn't be getting that sort of locking, but that might be why he's got such bad front tyre wear in a car that at least used to be incredible on tyre wear. Nessie as well, really struggling on pace. He's had some laps in the 47s, now he might have been doing a bit of fuel saving, but even so, no one's looking particularly quick outside of Dawson at this point. Plux is now having to consider that penalty as well, so his charge has been slightly blunted, and it looks like Kim's in the pound seat here for having a go at Plux without even having to actually attack him. He can kind of use Plux as a free slipstream aid. There is Nessie in second place. About 4 or 5 seconds up the road from Smithy. So we head on to lap 32, and Lorcas has had to peel off from the charge. So he didn't have quite enough fuel. And this time Kim has a look. He can't quite make it happen. Actually cost himself a bit of time there. So now see Smithy. Those front tyres are absolutely destroyed on that Megane trophy. Oh, but wide there from Plux. That's where he cut the track last time by, which we didn't see on camera, but that's where it happened, and that's where he picked up that penalty. So he might have just been over compensating for that mistake on the previous lap. But Smithy's fuel is also absolutely critical, and I think that's what's going to cost him here. He's going to run out of kind of ability to use Mix 1. And in a car which is already terrible in a straight line, it's really going to cost him. Nessie's got just about enough fuel, I think. Dawson's well ahead at this point. It's a good 10 seconds ahead of the next nearest car. And now look, Plux is all over the back of Smithy. You can hear actually Smithy changing up early, so he's definitely short shifting, definitely down on power. I think he's having to run in at mix 2. Plux now is going to have an easy time of this, I think. That is provisionally looking like it's going to be Plux making a move for the podium. He's going to have the straight line speed advantage here. This should be a fairly easy move. See what happens with Kim's McLaren though, which isn't far behind. Will he go for a kind of a last-ditch dive bomb? Was he going to wait? But what Plux needs to do here is either try and burn that penalty off, or he's got to have to kind of go for it now and hope that Smithy can hold up Kim, because at the moment Plux is in fifth position with that penalty, and it's not easy to burn them off around here, not with the amount of time remaining. It's 2.2 seconds of penalty there. We've got to keep an eye on that as we see Nessie pretty secure in that second position. Dawson powering ahead in first. Plux trying to get that gap. Still pushing at this point, it looks like, but it looks like Smithy's gone wide out the corner, and that's going to give Kim the chance he needs to get underneath him. He's got the power, and you can just see the difference. That is definitely a car not running in full mix 1. He just powers past him down the straight. And now Kim, is all he's got to do is stay within the penalty gap. Plux has managed to cut almost half a second out of it. As we cut to the final lap now, we've got Dawson coming through the final sector. An absolute masterclass of a performance there from Dawson, doing a 2-stop where everyone else did a 3 or even a 4. Plux has got it down to 1.3, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, as we watch Dawson come out the final corner. Imperious drive there. That's going to be another win. Didn't get fastest lap or pole this time, but a solid 50 points. Nessie got pole. Couldn't quite hold off Dawson though, as we see in the background. We'll find out in a minute, but great second place from Nessie. And Plux has still got 1.2, and I think that's going to be costly. He brakes to try and get rid of it, but that's going to be third place for Kim, fourth for Plux, fifth for Smithy, who holds on his fuel. Lorcas, who was charging hard at the end there. And then Senna, who's in the slipstream. And I think Miller's going to get this. What a great little gutsy drive by Miller, not giving up. Giving it everything, and that's 7th place for Miller, 8th for Senna. 9th place for Ricey. Compromised race. Gadget down in 10th with really nothing he could do there. Ben in 11th and 12th for Cafe. So we can see Dawson takes first with Nessie in second and Kim in third. Nessie taking pole position and Kim sneaking the fastest lap. As we take a look at the points, Plux holds on to the lead, but only 4 points in it now after they're both Smithy and Plux's kind of weak results there. Nessie holds on to third position, Mac in fourth, and Kim up to joint fourth with him. Dawson jumps up a few positions with that extra 50-point injection of points, and Lorcas looking pretty good there as well, just behind Gadget. Catches again for the next round at Le Mans in the Group 2 cars for another likely slipstream train. We'll see you then.